Yo, son, check it.
We need a liberal Joe Rogan. You had a liberal Joe Rogan. His name was Joe Rogan.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts, and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil, chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
What's good, my people? Welcome to yet another episode of the MC Too Tall Show. I am your host, master of sound quality, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Too Tall. Now let's address this elephant in the room. If you're on Instagram, you may have seen a clip of Shoe on Head. A clip of Shoe on Head that I posted to Instagram. Let me tell you something, that thing went viral. It starts out with a saying, oh my God, we need a liberal Joe Rogan. You had a liberal Joe Rogan. Well, you saw the beginning of the video where it starts. But reason why it's going viral is because she's bringing up some really good points there. Some really good points. By the way, the clip of her saying that I put on Instagram currently has 50,000 likes and close to 1,700 shares. And I'm kicking myself in the behind over that because I didn't put my little MC Too Tall skull logo. I didn't put anything that says the MC Too Tall Show on there. I'm going to be mindful. The next time Shoe on Head says something viral, I'm going to add my thing in there. But I did give her the common courtesy to tag her at least. And the point she's bringing up, well, first of all, before I say that, let's just say this. If you're only watching me, which I can't see how, she's got thousands of subscribers more than I do. I'm still in 3 digits, go figure. Me, this handsome face, only 3 digits worth of subscribers. Under 300. Why is that? Why am I not 50 points ahead?
Why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask?
Let's just say this. Shoe on Head's not MAGA. I'm proud to say I am, but Shoe on Head is not. And unlike what people want to believe about us MAGA folk, we do respect other people's opinions if they're not trying to drown you out when you're trying to articulate a point. When they're adults about it, they will always be respected if they have a difference of opinion. I still have friends that vote Democrat. And when I say the Democrats, I'm not talking about the voters who vote Democrat because their families all voted Democrat. They have grandparents that remember FDR or have grandparents that remember JFK. I'm not talking about your common Mow in the street. I'm talking about people like Elizabeth Warren, people like former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton,
Why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask?
Kamala Harris, who I affectionately call Kuntamala for right and reason, people like that, okay? And yes, I don't agree with a lot of Bernie Sanders' policies. And I don't agree with a lot of his talking points. I don't agree with anything that the label of socialism gets attached to. And I'll criticize Bernie all day for utilizing capitalism to sell his book about how bad capitalism is. But aside from that, there are certain things that Bernie Bros, which Shoe on Head is, and MAGA people are in agreement on. The main thing is how batshit crazy the mainstay of Democratic Party leadership are. And her video that I took that clip from, she was basically discussing how the left is failing at noting where they failed in this last presidential election. And they're blaming podcasts. And the Republican candidate was hitting all the points, going to all the popular podcasts. It didn't matter if they were left or right leaning, they were popular podcasts. And Joe Rogan has every walk of life show up. If they have something interesting to say, or if they're an interesting person, if there's any type of controversy around them, like he'll have Hulk Hogan on there, he'll have scientists on there, he'll have ex-MMA fighters on there. One time he had Eddie Bravo on there, a longtime friend of his, MMA fighter, who was discussing William Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse, which is a book you might have heard me talk about. In fact, the second verse to the theme song of this very show starts out with Behold a Pale Horse was a book that I read, written by a patriot that those bastards wanted dead. So basically, podcasts, certain podcasts are just really popular. And doesn't matter if it's left or right. And let's face it, Joe Rogan was a Bernie supporter. And the hierarchy of the DNC sent their media dogs after him. They sicked their media dogs on Joe Rogan. So Trump goes on Joe Rogan. Trump goes on a bunch of podcasts besides that. Theo Vaughn. He was on The Undertaker's 6 Feet Under podcast. He even answered Batista's stupid little SNL ad, sitting with Kane and The Undertaker. Kane, by the way, his real name, Glenn Jacobs, is the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. But that's for another story. Republican, by the way. So basically, he was on these shows, and people get to see the human side of Donald Trump. People get to hear an in-depth discussion with Donald Trump on these podcasts. And Kamala didn't want to go on these podcasts, or her handlers didn't want her to go on these podcasts. And so they're out there saying, well, we need our own version of this. How about being reasonable, being logical, addressing the grievances of your constituents? How about it? What are your constituents? If your constituents are some freaky fringe group, then you're probably not going to appear on popular podcasts. Or if there's podcasts that specialize in it and you appear only on them, you're not going to be all that snappy popular now, are you? And so, yes, there were people snapping out, all the talking heads on cable news, saying, well, if we only had a liberal version of Joe Rogan. And as I mentioned before, he did used to back up Bernie Sanders, hence why Sharon Head said, you had a liberal Joe Rogan. His name was Joe Rogan. And what I'm going to do, common courtesy, is I'm going to look for that whole video again, if it's still up, and put the link to it in the description box of this video. Well, why are you going to do that? You only got 200-something subscribers. She's got 1,000. Why are you boosting her? Because it's a common courtesy thing. If I'm going to show a little clip of her and talk about her video, it's only fair that I put the link of it up. And the hierarchy of the DNC has been screwing their own constituents for years. They've been pandering to their own constituents for years. They've been patronizing them and kind of passively aggressively mocking them. If you've been living in the same conditions, trying to keep a roof over your head in those same conditions for generations, while struggling to make a competitive wage, and all your top candidate has to offer you is some anecdote of her having hot sauce in her purse, you don't find that kind of insulting? A lot of people did. They voted for Donald Trump. And wouldn't you be insulted if you were of any type of ethnic group or particular race or culture, and you knew the top candidate for the Democratic side had an accent tailor-made just for you and was able to switch it up to be that of your neighbor's accent, and then switch it up to be the accent of people all the way across the country? 3 different pronunciations of words, 3 different dialects. You'd be insulted if you were any one of those 3 groups. You'd be insulted, or should be. And that's the point of this. That's the point of this. And people that say, Joe Rogan was never a liberal. Even if he was a down-the-middle kind of guy that took a shine to Bernie Sanders, okay. You know, he took a shine to somebody who was on the left who was on the left, still on the left. But when you guys attacked him for supporting Bernie, frig it. Might as well bring Trump on board, hear what Trump has to say, and then he heard directly from Donald Trump on his show what his policies were, what he did in his first 4 years as president, what he intends to do in his next 4 years as president, and last minute backed up Donald Trump. And think of people who were part of the Democratic Party that left. 2 I can name offhand are Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr., two people that have been nominated to be part of Donald Trump's upcoming cabinet. What does that tell you? They're not addressing the issues of their constituents. They're ignoring their own people. They're ignoring their own voters. And telling you because you were born with a certain DNA, with a certain level of melanin, with a certain imbalance between chromosomes and hormones, that you were born with indoor plumbing instead of outdoor plumbing, or born with outdoor plumbing but would like to be someone with indoor plumbing, that you have to vote Democrat just because. And I would rather be fed well, be able to, I would rather afford to feed myself well and keep a roof over my head and clothes on my back than to starve to death. While being told how nice I am because of my ethnicity or because of my gender identity, my sex, my sexuality. Don't tell me how nice I am because of this while starving me to death. I'll vote for the other person that doesn't address my ethnicity, my sex, sexuality, gender identity, or whatever. Who has the economy set up in a way where I could get a job, work hard at that job, make good money at that job, and afford to feed and clothe and house myself. Try having policies where people can be independent, where people can prosper as sovereign human beings and move safely about in the world within these here United States. You come up with a candidate that promises that and has a record of delivering on that, you might have something there. The Republicans got it now. Took them a while, but they finally got it. Respect God. Watch out for the Illuminati. Follow and share this content. Tell all your friends about me. Tell them what a wise man I am. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building. Hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Too Tall. You be good now.